Hi, girls and boys and girls. I tell you what, I was on my way to work this morning, and I wanted to come out here and see if this grasshopper that I saw go under here last night was still here. So let's check and see, okay? Mr. Grasshopper, are you there? Oh no, I can see the leaf he was sleeping under is flipped upside down. Boys and girls, I read a great book, and I went on a journey with a grasshopper. Can you believe it? A grasshopper. And in this book, Grasshopper on the Road by Arnold Lobel, this grasshopper said, I'm tired of living out here in the woods. I'm gonna take a journey. So he got on a dusty road, and he started walking down the road. And he walked down there a little ways. I'll tell you what, this grasshopper had a heck of an adventure. He's walking down the road, and he's singing, and he comes up on a bunch of beetles. And the beetles are bugs. And they were all cheering and laughing and having a good time, and they were carrying a sign. And the sign said they love mornings, morning time. And the grasshopper got in there, he got all in good with them. He said, man, I love mornings too. And they said, oh, you'll fit right in this club, because we're the morning club. We love. I'm telling you, we love mornings. And so the grasshopper got around in there, and they was dancing and everything, eating. And he said, but you know what, beetles? I kind of like the afternoon too. Oh my goodness, boys and girls. That was not what he should have said. Find out what happened to him and the beetles when the grasshopper told him that he liked the afternoon too. Well, so he goes on down the road a little bit more, and he finds an apple. And find out what's living in the apple. And the apple rolls down the road. Oh my goodness. It smashes against a tree. Find out what happens in that deal. Then he goes on down the road a little bit more, and he comes up on a fly. A house fly. And that house fly is doing something. It's sweeping with a broom. And he says, hey, Mr. Fly, what you doing sweeping with the broom? And find out what this fly tells him. See if he sweeps some dirt into the grasshopper's eyes. See if he covers up the grasshopper. See if he jumps on the grasshopper's back and tries to ride him. Oh my goodness. And then he goes on down the road a little bit more, so he says, hey, I'll see you later, Mr. Fly. He goes on down to the road, and he gets to a mud puddle. And in the mud puddle, there's a mosquito. And the mosquito's in a little old boat. And the mosquito says, hey, Mr. Grasshopper, you want me to give you a ride across the puddle, the water puddle, the mud puddle here? And the grasshopper kind of looks at him and he said, well, sure, Mr. Mosquito, I'll take a ride in there. Find out if he gets in the boat and sinks it. See if the mosquito flies off. See if the mosquito jumps on the grasshopper's stomach and bites him on the stomach. Well, then he goes on down a little bit more, and he comes to some mushrooms, and there's some butterflies sitting on the mushrooms. See what the conversation was with that. So then he goes on down the road a little bit more, and he sees some dragonflies. And so they have a conversation. Boys and girls, I'm telling you what, this little old grasshopper was wore out last night when I saw him. Saw him on the road right down here by my house, and I brought him up here and told him he could sleep underneath this tree, underneath this moss here, and it wasn't going to rain or anything, and he'd be fine. So you know what? I came out here this morning to see, and he's already gone this morning, so he's still on his road to see the world. So you know what? Get this book, Grasshopper on the Road by Arnold Lobel, and find out in here, find out what happened with the beetles, and find out what happened with the mosquito, find out what was in that apple that the grasshopper saw. Find out what he said to the butterflies. Find out what the mosquito hawks did with him. Oh my goodness, boys and girls. Grasshopper on the Road by Arnold Lobel. And hey, this is Mr. Dean. Thanks for joining me for another Mr. Dean's Outdoor Reading Adventure.